right, Algebra 1, Lesson 23. This one is on equivalent equations and then the additive property of equality. I'm going to skip 23.A and 23.B because I think there's an easier way to teach this. So we're going to go straight to the problems. 23, I guess it is part of B. So 23.1 example. I want you to write this one down on your paper. X minus 3 equals 12. Okay, these may be simpler. Okay, these aren't as hard, but let's just do some review. On these kind of problems, you're always going to take your minus and go on and make it a plus negative. Okay? You got that? Now, what you want to try to do is you want x's on one side and numbers on the other. Okay? So if you look at this problem, which side do you want the x on, the left or the right?
The right.
I mean the left. Okay.
Yes, right.
A lot of people like x on the left. So let's do a few of those first. Because if you move the x to the right, it just gets a little bit confusing. Because a lot of people don't see x on the right. So let's do some of these first, and then we can try to do that one in a minute, okay? So I want my x's on the left and my numbers on the right. So right now I have this negative 3 on with the x, okay? So when I say I want the x's on one side and the numbers on the other, I didn't mean to mention this. The x's need to be on the left side of the equals. The numbers need to be on the right side of the equal. So this is your kind of middle point. Okay, so we've got our x on the left side of the equals, but we need to move this to the right side of the equals, right? Okay, so this is a negative 3. And so we need it to become a positive 3. So whenever, and it might, I'm actually going to take this back. Instead of doing a plus negative in the beginning, I think it's going to work better in your brain. Let's just leave it as minus for right now. So right now it says x minus 3. See that? That minus 3. So we want to leave our x over here, but let's go ahead and put our minus 3 over here. Now, whenever you take minus 3 and move it across the equals, instead of it being minus, you're going to change it to its opposite, which is plus 3. See how we did that?
Yeah.
Okay? And then you can erase this because you've moved it over, and now this becomes x equals 12 plus 3. We have our x's on one side, our numbers on the other. And so 12 plus 3 is 15, so x equals 15. So if we were to put x back into the problem, for example, x was 15, and the rest of the problem said minus 3 equals 12. Is that true? Is 15 minus 3 12?
Yeah.
12 equals 12. We are right. So that means we've done it right. So if you want to take and check those, you can every time.
Yeah.
All right, let's try another one. X, this one's a little bit hard because it includes, oh gosh, I'm having brain farts today. Fractions. So we're working with fractions today, and so they make it a little bit harder, okay, but it doesn't have to be. So again, we want to get x's on one side and numbers or fractions on the other. So let's do x on this side. So I have plus 1/4. When I move it over here, it becomes minus 1/4. See how we did that? Because it's the opposite. So when you go across the equal sign, you change it to its opposite. Plus becomes minus, minus becomes plus. Multiplying becomes divide, divide becomes multiply. Okay? So I'm going to move that, and we just did. So now it says x equals 3/8 minus 1/4. So x equals, and then you have to work it 3/8 minus 1/4. And then you have to do the whole mathematical problem. And we know how to find the answer to this. We both have to have the same denominators. So I'll make 8 as my denominator. Okay? And so times 2, this is previous learning, so I'm not going to go way into it. You should know this by now. And then 8 times 1 is 3. So I get 3/8 minus 2/8 is going to give us the answer of 1/8. X equals 1/8.
Yeah. So
you can put that back into the problem as 1/8 and see if you are correct. Okay? If you want to. All right. Oh, I didn't notice. The problem actually had a negative. That's okay. It's not that important. So, for example, this said negative 3/8. I didn't see that. And when I brought the 1/4 over, it was plus 1/4, and we made it minus 1/4. Okay? So I've got negative 3/8 minus, and so when I got that final answer, let me just do this real quick. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Okay, so this becomes 3. negative 3 minus positive 2. So I'm going to make this a plus negative.
Let's make it.
Okay? So then this negative 3 plus a negative 2 becomes a negative 5. And then the 8 stays the same. Okay, so that kind of was important that I did go back over that, okay? Alright, now let's do a few more. This is the last one, yes. K plus 2 1/3 equals 2 9ths. Okay? Now, again, we want letters on one side, numbers on the other. So we want to leave this K on this side and this plus 2 1/3 we're going to bring over here. So I've got K equals 2 9ths, and this plus 2/3 becomes minus 2 1/3. Now, what do you think I should do on this problem?
Move the...
okay.
Move the K to the other side. The K equals and the equals. It could be that equals K.
Yes. Let me look at something real quick. I think what I'm going to suggest you do here is make this into an improper fraction.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and do that. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. That becomes 7/3. Okay. First of all, this is 2 9ths minus 7/3. That make a little bit more sense in your head?
Yeah.
It does in my head too. Okay, so now this is 2 9ths minus the 7/3. So I'm going to write it up and down just because my brain works better like that. Okay? So now this 3 has to become a what?
It has to be 9.
Right. So we want 9 on both of them. So this becomes 3 times 3. 7 times 3 is 21. 9 times 1. 2 times 1 becomes 2. Okay. Now, this says 2 minus 21. So we're going to make this a plus negative. Okay? And so 2 plus a negative 21 becomes what?
Negative 19.
Okay, I'm going to write it over here. Negative 19 over 9. And that's actually how you're going to leave your answer. It is okay in this book to leave it as an improper fraction.
Okay.
Negative 19/9 is the answer. Okay? That is lesson 23.